The text from my sister Olivia arrived 3 days before her wedding. Bridget says she never got your RSVP? Did you even send it back? I stared at my phone. I'd hand-delivered my RSVP 6 weeks ago, directly to Bridget Castellano, Olivia's wedding planner at Mom's house. I gave it to Bridget in person. March 15th. Bridget says she has no record of it. Can you just confirm now? Yes or no? Yes. I'll be there. Alone, as indicated on the RSVP Bridget definitely received. Thanks for making this difficult, Claire. No apology. No acknowledgement that maybe the wedding planner had made a mistake. Just irritation that I'd inconvenienced everyone. The rehearsal dinner Friday night was where it got worse. Claire, there's been a small issue, Mom whispered as I arrived. Since your RSVP was never received, there isn't actually a seat for you at tomorrow's reception. Bridget said she can try to squeeze in a chair somewhere, but the room is at capacity. I'm not seated at my own sister's wedding? It's just an unfortunate mix-up. Can you be flexible for once? It's Olivia's day. Bridget Castellano appeared, 50-something, expertly highlighted hair, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Claire, so glad you could make it. We're doing our best to accommodate unexpected guests. I'm not unexpected. I returned my RSVP 6 weeks ago. Bridget made a show of checking her tablet. I have no record of that. But don't worry, we'll find somewhere to put you tomorrow. Maybe near the catering staff? They usually have an extra table. The catering staff table. Best we can do on such short notice. She turned away, dismissing me. Olivia, darling, we need to review the processional timing. I caught her smirk as she walked away. This wasn't an accident. This was deliberate. My brother Josh appeared at my elbow. That was messed up. Everyone heard it. They're just pretending they didn't. Did you notice anything when I delivered that RSVP back in March? Just that Bridget seemed annoyed when Olivia introduced you as always working, and you said you were in hospitality management. She compared you to Marcus's cousin who manages a Hilton Garden Inn. That interaction. I'd handed over my RSVP, mentioned I worked in hospitality management, and Bridget had immediately dismissed me as unimportant. She'd literally set my RSVP aside and never looked at it again. Josh, do me a favor. Don't mention what I actually do for work. You're the CEO of. I know what I am. Just don't mention it. I want to see how this plays out. During dinner, Bridget held court at the head of the table, regaling everyone with stories of celebrity weddings and difficult venues. The Ashford Grand is lovely, though I had to fight with their events coordinator to get everything I wanted. These venue managers can be so inflexible. They act like they own the place. Laughter rippled around the table. I took a sip of water. I once had a venue manager try to tell me we couldn't adjust ceremony times, Bridget continued. I had to go over her head to the owner. Venue staff need to understand that the wedding planner runs the show. She glanced at me. No offense to your hospitality work, Claire. I'm sure hotel management is perfectly fine, but luxury event planning requires real expertise. After dinner, I stepped outside and called my executive assistant. Claire, is everything okay? Patricia, pull the file for the Morrison Castellano wedding tomorrow. Full contract, all correspondence. Send it to my phone. That's your sister's wedding. And Bridget Castellano. Wait. The Bridget Castellano who's been terrorizing our events team for 6 months. That's the one. Send me the file. And check the contract for violation clauses, particularly regarding treatment of venue staff. Are you thinking what I think you're thinking? I'm thinking I want to know my options. The file arrived at 10 p.m. I read through it in my hotel room, not at the Ashford Grand, my own property, but at a competitor hotel across town. I never stayed at my own hotels during personal time. The correspondence was damning. Bridget had made dozens of requests that violated venue policies. My events team had accommodated where possible and firmly declined where necessary. Her emails had grown progressively hostile. Then I found it, an email from 3 weeks ago. This is unacceptable. I am planning a luxury wedding for a high-profile client, and your event coordinator is making unreasonable demands. I need to speak with someone who actually has authority. I refuse to deal with subordinate staff who don't understand the caliber of event we're executing. My senior events coordinator Miguel's response had been professional. Ms. Castellano, I am the Senior Events Coordinator, reporting directly to our CEO. The policies I've outlined are non-negotiable. I'm happy to discuss alternatives within our guidelines. Bridget's reply, then I'll go over your head. Who owns this place? I'll contact them directly and explain that your inflexibility is jeopardizing a major event. Miguel had forwarded it to Patricia with a note. Should I tell her she just threatened to complain about me to my boss, who is also my boss's boss's boss? I set down my phone and laughed, not happily. Bridget Castellano had spent 6 months making my staff miserable, had demanded to speak to someone with actual authority, and had never bothered to learn who actually owned the Ashford Grand Hotel and Events Center. Me. Clare Morrison. The woman whose RSVP she'd lost. The woman she'd dismissed as being in hospitality management. I pulled up the contract termination clause. The venue reserves the right to terminate this agreement with 24 hours notice in cases of violation of venue policies, abusive behavior toward venue staff, misrepresentation, or any behavior deemed detrimental to venue operations. I screenshotted it and texted Patricia. Emergency meeting tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. Conference room B. Events team, legal and security. This is really happening? This is really happening. Saturday morning my team assembled. Miguel was there with 2 other events coordinators, our legal counsel and our security director. Thank you for coming on a Saturday, I began. Before we start, you need to know, the Morrison wedding today is my sister's wedding. But Bridget Castellano has created a situation requiring a difficult decision. I displayed the hostile email thread. Miguel, walk us through your experiences with Ms. Castellano. The picture he painted was damning. Constant policy violations, verbal abuse, unreasonable demands, threats. Everything documented meticulously. Legal, what are our options? You have grounds to terminate based on the pattern of behavior. But Claire, this is your sister's wedding. Terminating now would be catastrophic. They'd have no venue, no time to relocate. And if we don't terminate? You're signaling this behavior is acceptable. That vendors can abuse staff without consequence. I looked at Miguel. What do you want? I don't want to ruin your sister's wedding. But I don't want to work another event with Bridget Castellano. She called my assistant a glorified caterer yesterday. She made a setup crew member cry. Show of hands. Who thinks we should enforce termination? Every hand went up. Here's what we'll do. We're not canceling the wedding. But we're putting Ms. Castellano on notice. Patricia, draft a letter citing every violation, every instance of staff abuse. Deliver it at noon, 4 hours before the ceremony. And then, we give her a choice. Apologize to every staff member she's mistreated, agree to our supervision for the event, and sign an acknowledgment that future violations mean immediate termination. Or refuse and her contract ends now. We'll finish planning the wedding ourselves. That's aggressive, legal noted. She's been aggressive for 6 months. Now she experiences consequences. Miguel delivers the letter personally. I want her to see the person she's been abusing hand her this ultimatum. At 11:45 a.m., I arrived at the Ashford Grand through the executive entrance, changed into a business suit, and pulled up security feeds showing the ballroom setup. Bridget was there barking orders, snapping at staff, treating my team like they were incompetent. At exactly noon, Miguel entered with the letter. I watched her face go from annoyed to shocked to furious as she read. She protested. Miguel stood firm, calm and professional, pointing to specific passages. Then my phone rang. Bridget Castellano. I let it ring 4 times. Clare Morrison. This is Bridget Castellano. I need to speak to whoever is in charge at this venue immediately. You're speaking to her. I'm the CEO of Ashford Grand Properties. How can I help you? Profound silence. You're Olivia's sister. You said hospitality management. I am. I manage 6 properties across 3 states, worth $800 million combined. The Ashford Grand is my flagship. And Ms. Castellano, you've spent 6 months making my staff miserable. This is a misunderstanding. I was maintaining high standards. You called my senior coordinator subordinate staff. You threatened to go over his head to the owner. Me. You've violated policies repeatedly and verbally abused employees. The letter outlines your options. You have until 1 p.m. to decide. 1 p.m. The wedding starts at 4. You have until 1 p.m. After that, your contract terminates and we handle the event. Goodbye. I hung up and watched the security feed. Bridget stood frozen, finally understanding she'd underestimated the wrong person. My phone rang. Olivia. Claire, what the hell? Bridget says you're the CEO? And you're threatening to cancel my wedding? I'm not threatening to cancel. I'm holding your planner accountable for abusing my staff. The wedding happens either way. The question is whether Bridget coordinates it. You let me think you were just some manager. The RSVP, oh my god. She knew who you were, didn't she? She figured it out when Miguel kept citing ownership policies. She lost my RSVP because she was angry I wouldn't let her bully my staff. I'm so sorry. I should have stood up for you. You should have questioned why only my RSVP went missing. You should have noticed your planner treating people like garbage. Olivia was crying. What do I do? Wait. If Bridget apologizes and follows supervision, the wedding proceeds. If not, my team takes over. Either way, you're getting married today. At 12:47 p.m., Bridget appeared in my office doorway, disheveled. I'd like to apologize. To me? Or to the staff you've been mistreating? To everyone. I was under pressure and let it make me act unprofessionally. Ms. Castellano, this venue operates on respect. You violated that repeatedly. The only reason you're still here is because I won't let your behavior ruin my sister's wedding. I leaned forward. Here's what happens. You personally apologize to Miguel and every coordinator you dismissed. Then you execute this wedding flawlessly with Miguel supervising. When it's over, you sign a document agreeing Ashford Grand will never host another Castellano events wedding. We're done after today. That's not fair. You'll ruin my business. No. You ruined this relationship when you decided venue staff were beneath you. There are 5 other luxury venues in this city. But you won't work with me again. She left to deliver apologies. I watched on feeds as she found each staff member with words that looked painful. Miguel accepted with grace. The wedding was beautiful. Olivia looked radiant. The reception was flawless. Though I noticed Bridget checking with Miguel before every decision. Mom found me during dinner. You're really the CEO? Why didn't you tell us? I tried. You heard hospitality management and stopped listening. I own 6 hotels. I employ over 800 people. But somehow I'm still just Claire who works in hotels. We're proud of you. Are you? Or just impressed now that you know the scale? She had no answer. As the evening ended, Olivia found me. Thank you for not canceling. I wouldn't do that to you. But Liv, we need to talk about how you let someone treat me and my staff that way. I know. I was so focused on the perfect wedding that I stopped noticing who was being hurt to create it. He hugged me. I'm sorry. For not standing up for you. For not noticing. For taking you for granted. We'll work on it. But next time someone loses something important of mine, maybe ask more questions. Deal. And Claire? Bridget asked if you'd reconsider banning her. She says she learned her lesson. What do you think I should do? Stick to your decision. She didn't learn anything. She just learned to hide it better. Smart answer. Driving home, I thought about Bridget's smirk at rehearsal. About my lost RSVP. About 6 months of my staff enduring abuse because a wedding planner couldn't imagine the hospitality manager might own the building. The wedding was beautiful. My sister was happy. And Bridget Castellano learned about underestimating people. Sometimes the hospitality manager is just doing her job. And sometimes she owns the whole damn hotel. The next morning, I received an email from Miguel with the subject line, "Thank you. Claire, I've worked in hospitality for 15 years. And yesterday was the first time I've ever seen someone actually hold a vendor accountable for staff abuse. Usually management tells us to just deal with it, because the client is paying. You didn't do that. You stood up for us even though it was your own sister's wedding. The entire team wants you to know. We'd walk through fire for you. Thank you for showing us that we matter." I forwarded it to Patricia with a note. This is why we do what we do. Not for the revenue. For the people. 3 days later, a wedding blog posted about Olivia's event. The comments section exploded when someone mentioned that the venue CEO had nearly terminated the planner's contract hours before the ceremony for staff mistreatment. Good for her, one commenter wrote. Wedding planners who abuse venue staff are the worst. I worked with Bridget Castellano once, another added. She screamed at a 19-year-old server until she cried. Glad someone finally called her out. The publicity wasn't what I'd wanted, but the message was clear. Treat people with respect or face consequences. Bridget's business didn't collapse, but several venues quietly stopped accepting her bookings. Word travels fast in the hospitality industry. Olivia and I had lunch 2 weeks after the wedding. She looked happy, relaxed, still glowing from her honeymoon. I've been thinking about what you said, she started. About how I let Bridget treat people. About how I didn't stand up for you. Liv. No, let me finish. I spent so much money, so much energy trying to have the perfect wedding that I forgot what actually matters. The marriage. The people. Being kind. She reached across the table. I'm proud of what you've built, Clare. Not just the hotels but the culture. The way your staff talks about you, they respect you because you respect them first. That's real success. Thank you, I said, my throat tight. And I'm sorry I needed the CEO title to see your value. You were always valuable. I just wasn't paying attention. We hugged in the parking lot, and for the first time in months, it felt like we were really sisters again. Back at my office, I had Patricia draft a new company policy. All vendor contracts will include explicit language regarding treatment of staff. Any vendor who engages in abusive behavior toward Ashford Grand employees will have their contract immediately terminated, regardless of event status or financial implications. Our people are not negotiable. Miguel framed a copy and hung it in the events office. 6 months later, I received a wedding invitation. Joshua Chin and Amanda Rodriguez requested the honor of my presence at their wedding. My brother was getting married. The venue listed was the Ashford Grand. At the bottom, a handwritten note. Already told the wedding planner that my sister owns the venue. Just so there's no confusion this time. Head table seat reserved for you. Love, Josh. I laughed until I cried. Some lessons you only need to learn once. And some sisters are worth fighting for, even when it means almost canceling their wedding at noon on a Saturday. The hospitality industry taught me many things over the years. But the most important lesson came from Bridget Castellano's smirk and my own sister's wedding. Power isn't about titles or money or who owns the building. Power is about knowing your worth, protecting your people, and never letting anyone make you small. Especially when they don't know you own the whole damn hotel.